Hi, I'm Andy and I know containers. Born and raised in Germany and now in Australia. Today we're talking about something that goes way beyond container specs. We're going to break down what's really happening in the global container world. Why some container types are fading away, why others are taking over, why millions of containers are sitting idle, and what it means for you, especially if you care about resale, value, and long-term investment. So let's go. So at first we have the 40-foot high cube container. That's the new global standard. The 40-foot high cube has become the go-to container type worldwide. Because why? It gives you around 13% more of internal volume than the standard 40-footer because it takes up the same footprint and it costs the same to ship. Both the 40-foot high cube and the standard 40-foot are counted as a 1 FEU, 40-foot equivalent unit in global logistics. Whether on ships, rail or road, the rate is per FEU and not per cubic meter. Also, the 40-foot high cube comes with a gooseneck tunnel, so it's lower on the trailer, staying under the 4-meter legal height limited in most countries. In other words, the 40-foot high cube fits the system and the system prefers it. The 40-foot standard container is the phasing out model. The standard 40-footer is used to be the baseline. Today it dies off slowly but surely. Sure, it's cheaper upfront, but here's the kicker. In some markets, you can get less money for a 40-foot standard container than for a 20-footer. That's how little people want it. Why is that? Because resellers don't want to buy them anymore. And when they do, it's only to flip them quickly and cheaply. If you need a long-term private storage for 10 years, sure, get a 40-foot standard and save a few bucks. But if you're hoping to resettle it later or just break it even, you'll probably lose the money. So the third is a 20-foot standard container, still going strong. The 20-foot standard isn't going anywhere. And why is that? Because you hit the weight limit before you hit the volume. It's compact, stackable, craneable, and fits seamlessly into rail, short sea depot, and military logistics. Resellers love it and end users need it. It moves and it makes sense. Now let's talk about the 20-foot high cube, and let's be clear. In freight logistics, the 20-foot high cube has always been never used. Why? Because it doesn't have a gooseneck tunnel, so it rides about 30 centimeters higher on the trailer, which means it breaks the 4-meter road height limit in many countries. You also can't stack two 20-foot high cubes on one 40-foot trailer in those countries. But this is a standard practice for 20-foot containers, so yeah, it's a logistical headache for transport. And this is pretty important. The 20-foot high cube container is hugely popular with end users. Think about tiny houses, mobile offices, showrooms, event builds, side toolboxes, pop-up cafes. And why is that? It's because of the extra headroom that gives you the container. Without needing a full 40-foot footprint, it's easier to move, fits on smaller sites, and gives you the flexibility for creative and practical fit-outs. So it's primarily not for freight, it's more for builders, creatives, and site operators. The 20-foot high cube is a winner. That's why they're still being manufactured, even though the freight world doesn't care about them. The next point is that the global container fleet is getting bigger every year, but it's not fully active. According to Drewry's latest equipment market analysis, the global container fleet peaked at 50.8 million TEU, 20-foot equivalent unit, in 2022, and it was expected to contract to 49.3 million in 2023. In 2023 alone, over 2.8 million TEU were scrapped, almost a full year's worth of new production. Why? Because after 21 and 22 shipping boom, we've massively overbuilt. And now many of those boxes are just sitting idle in depots, yards, and terminals across China, Eastern Europe, or beyond. So don't just look at how many exist, look at what's actually moving and what's the dead weight. So what does that mean for you? If you're planning to buy a container and you don't want to get stuck with a dead box, then you need to follow the difference between what's cheap today and what's still worth something next year. Let's recap. 40-foot high cube, it's definitely future-proof, it's globally compatible, resale friendly. The 20-foot is reliable, freight relevant, and logistically universal. The 40-foot standard may be fine for long-term storage, but resale, it's risky, I would say. And the 20-foot high cube is not perfect for freight, but perfect for tiny homes, fit-outs, and creative use. And remember, just because a container exists doesn't mean it's investable. So if you're not sure which container type is right for you and for your projects. Or if you want to buy smart and resell smart, then head over to shipping-containers.com.au. We've got every container type on ground, and we'll show you what's worth it and what's just painted steel. See you on the next one.